Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the relatively cool comfort of the CCT studios, where today we're going to be visiting with you regarding that all-important subject of water. Now, over the years, CCT has attempted to bring to you every major significant improvement or happening regarding water in Calaveras County. Today we're going to bring you something that's going to be quite new to some people, a little bit old hat to others, but we want to bring you up to date on a new water authority in this county called Utica Power Authority. And I have two gentlemen with me today representing Utica Power Authority. First of all, to my far left, the chairman of CCWD, Calaveras County Water District, representing coincidentally District Number 4, which is Murphy's and Angels Camp. He's been 7 years with CCWD, Dennis Dooley. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Merle.
And then to my immediate left, a gentleman with whom I have worked on a number of shows, but they're basketball shows, not water shows. Dwayne Onito, who has been 20 years on the UPUD board, that's the Utica Power and Utica Power Union
Public
Utility District. I'll get that right eventually. And Dwayne is chairman of the Utica Power Authority. Now, first of all, I want one of you to explain how it is we arrived at Utica Power Authority as a unit, and what compromises Utica Power Authority. Who'd like to take that? Dwayne?
All right.
Go ahead.
Start. UPA, we're going to have a lot of fun with those initials. UPA, Utica Power Authority, was formed at the request of CCWD to help manage the water system through Murphy's and Angels Creek. Okay. CCWD did not feel that they wanted to handle that hot potato over there. When the relicensing, the Federal Energy Commission relicensed that project, and so the UPA was created with 2 members from UPUD, 2 members from the City of Angels, and 2 members from CCWD.
Okay, now let's attempt right now to to bring our viewers up to date as to the necessity for something like UPA. Going back, and Dennis, I'm gonna refer to you here because you were very integrally involved as a member of CCWD with NCPA on this early going. When the North Fork project was put together by NCPA, there was a tunnel tap created. We did a couple of big shows on the tunnel tap, so many of our viewers are familiar with that. And from the tunnel tap on down through Angels Camp, all of a sudden the water in that creek became a focal point, an issue for a lot of people. Not the power necessarily, but the water involved. And as I recall, CCWD and NCPA and PG&E were all after that water and consequently that power. And all 3 entities applied to the federal government for that licensing. Is that correct or not?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. And then what happened?
Well, NCPA convinced us to support them in their license.
Now, us meaning CCWD at this point?
Correct.
Okay.
And one of the things that we failed to do that we should have done, because we thought we were protected, we did not file what's called a notice of intent with FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission.
Okay.
And so we were out of the licensing loop. And after aligning ourselves with NCPA with an agreement that we would have or with an understanding that we would have an agreement worked out that we could support for the flows of water in the creek, we agreed on a 90-day envelope or period of time to work that out.
Okay.
After 180 days, we still hadn't worked that out.
Okay.
And that's when we split at that time from NCPA, trying to work out a deal that would help protect the county's interests as much as possible. We were talking to both NCPA and PG&E.
And at that point, PG&E owned the system from the Utica powerhouse on down. Is that correct?
From the tunnel tap.
Well, from the tunnel tap.
From the tunnel tap on down.
If I can back up,
okay.
You understand that the tunnel tap was put in there primarily to replace the upper canal and sluice system of PG&E.
Mm-hmm.
So
into Hunter Reservoir?
Right.
Okay.
So there was another canal system went way on up further on the river,
mm-hmm.
and so that tunnel tap replaced that.
Okay.
And so even though there was a lot of opposition with each other, NCPA and PG&E were kind of joined together at the tunnel tap.
Okay, if we can use that metaphor.
But you see, it's different water. The whole reason that the tunnel tap is there was to deliver PG&E's right under the FERC license. It's a totally different amount of water than the North Fork project. The 88 PG&E was entitled to 88 CSF, cubic feet per second, and that's the reason why the tunnel tap was put in, was to deliver that water to PG&E.
Okay. Now, at this point, if my information is correct or if I interpreted it correctly, and this is what we're trying to do at this point, help our viewers sort all this out. Dwayne, as I understand it, FERC came back to PG&E, CCWD, and NCPA and said, look, we're not going to entertain 3 applications for license. You guys get together out there and figure out what you want to do and then get back to us. And if that's essentially what happened.
That's essentially what happened.
Then what happened after that?
Okay. Consternation, right? Everybody,
okay.
A lot of discussion, a lot of arguing, and it is that at this point that PG&E decides we'll sell the system and get out.
Okay.
And so when they entertained anybody who wanted to buy it, and CCWD made a bid, and NCPA made a bid, and eventually, again, after much consternation and hard work and all kinds of meetings, it was eventually decided that instead of CCWD and NCPA competing to buy PG&E, they should cooperate in buying the system. And PG&E put out a price on the system of $5 million, and NCPA picked up half of it, $2.5 million. CCWD picked up the other $2.5 million, and NCPA was to get the upper half of the system above the tunnel tap, and CCWD would get the system below the tunnel tap.
Okay, now that puts it in pretty concise terms, because now we've got the system divided, and of course above the tunnel tap permits NCPA to siphon off a percentage of that water into the Collierville powerhouse, which is really what they wanted to do all along anyway.
Except they wanted more than what they got.
And did we talk about a percentage yet?
No. 28 CSF is what NCPA is entitled to of the 88 CSF
total
that
right.
comes from the tunnel tap.
And the balance comes down through the system.
Right.
All right. Now, my next question is, so far the major players have been PG&E. Boom, they're out of the picture now because we've bought them out. The 2 remaining major players are NCPA and CCWD. How then did UPUD and the City of Angels get into the picture?
I would like Dennis to answer that because Dennis is the one who is responsible for that.
All right.
What happened, and this is going back to almost 6 years of negotiating, without the support of UPUD and the City of Angels, we would have never gotten this system. In fact, it is part of a large part of their support was that they had hopes of becoming partners in this. Although the authority was, or the UPA was not set up yet, it's their hopes. Now, if they had been any kind of opposition to us on just CCWD alone, NCPA would have never gone with this deal, I'm convinced. So UPUD gets their water from the creek there. Murphy's community has, I've never seen anybody go through Murphy's Park the first time and not just come back and totally rave about what a world-class park and stream and what a beautiful setting that is. A lot of the people between Murphy's and Angels enjoy that water and use the water, and the City of Angels gets their water from it, although there's never been a park yet on the creek, although they got the Toy-On Park there in Angels by the pool. Is a modest park. Some people would like to see more park along the creek, but it's a beautiful creek, runs through Angels also, and there's some people who use the water below Angels Camp. Contrary to belief, CCWD never did have any water rights on that creek.
I see.
And this, with this deal we were able to work out with their support, we get the keep a lot more water in the creek than we would have if we had not have formed this alliance to get in here. And we've got a relatively full running stream, because most of the water that NCPA is taking out of this, the majority of it is coming out during the winter, when actually some people complain about the flows being actually too high. The water rights that come with this guarantee a better deal for City of Angels and Murphy's, or UPUD, in the future when they need more water. There's some water to be had either lower on the Stanislaus River or over into the New Hogan drainage system in the future if that's where it's needed. And there's a lot of this was based upon the potential agricultural growth that is likely to occur in the future in the Mother Lode area along the Angels, Murphy's area, and at a couple of areas where it can be siphoned off to areas where you have some going now. Okay,
we're going to get into that with our map here, drawn by the world-famous cartographer Duane Onito, in just a few moments. But I've got one more question that I think is a pertinent question, and I think our viewers would be interested in knowing. What kind of a buy-in was there, if any, on the part of UPUD and the City of Angels? Or were they just invited to come along for the ride because of the fear that NCPA wouldn't be willing to negotiate with CCWD without UPUD and the City of Angels involved?
It was an excellent deal that CCWD made. They put up the upfront money and have basically put up $2.5 million for, well, not, they have put up basically $2 million toward this project.